Hello guys, before we start today's video, I'd like to say a big thank you to today's sponsor, Carly. The legends at Carly have done it again, supporting your boy through these tough times and continuing to give you guys a discount. Yes, a big discount. In fact, you can check it out in a link in the description below and get shopping because Christmas is among us, and like me, you probably haven't bought anyone a gift. And yeah, you're welcome guys, you're welcome. But if you are new to Carly, please do click in the top right hand corner to go and have a look at my video on how to use this thing and how it can improve your life. But without further ado, enjoy the video, all the best. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. A big thank you to everyone that has been supporting over the last few months. Of course, hello to the new subscribers, and of course I have to say a big thank you to everyone that has been supporting. Of course, the Puma video has been doing absolutely mega recently, and I'm so grateful, and it continues to grow even till this day.
To this day.
But yeah, it has been a while since I've been on camera, and that is for very good reason, because all sorts of stuff has been happening in my life over the last few months. One being that we had to say goodbye to my best friend, my little man, my little dog, Elvis the Bichon Frise. Yeah, it's been a tough time, and of course I have to say a big thank you to everyone that has been sending their condolences. And yeah, it's good because I've got him with me at all times now. I've actually had him put into a ring, so I can always treasure him and say hello and give him a kiss whenever I want to. Honestly, for those that have pets, especially a dog, oh, it's honestly your worst nightmare when you have to say goodbye. It really is. But yeah, that kind of explains why I haven't been around. But today's the day that I'm back, and of course get to share this with you. Oh, it's crazy, I can't believe I've actually finished this now. Oh, but yeah, so let's get started. This is my sim rig. This is not any old sim rig. This isn't a Logitech G29 mounted to a plank of wood and then played on a TV. No, this is a professional sim rig. Now, I say professional in, yeah, a weird way, because you can even go more intense than this, believe it or not. If you look at places like Formula 1 teams, yeah, they spend absolute millions on their sims, but that's for very good reason why they do it. Whereas for me, I'd probably value this at about £10,000. Now, I haven't spent £10,000 on this, but if you was to approach a company to buy one, you'd probably look in the ballpark figures of that money. Now, the reason why I didn't, because A, it was way too much money to spend on one, and B, I didn't have the cash just to throw at it straight away. It took me about a few months just to get all the bits together. Now, the drawbacks of building your own sim is when you buy a sim from a company, you actually get support for I think a year. So if you ever have problems setting up your rig or your direct drive wheel, or you're having problems with a brake, someone from that company is appointed to help you whenever you need it. Whereas for me, I have to learn and do it all myself, which isn't a problem because it actually makes it more exciting. And once you progressively see yourself getting better, it's a really good achievement. So that's just a word of advice. If you've got the money, go ahead and see a company. There's loads of them about if you go on Google. But for me, I wanted to do it all myself. There was a sense of achievement building it. And let's start off with the rig itself. So this is an aluminium 80 by 40 aluminium profiled rig by Trakracer. I think I've got that right. You can get two different types. You can get a lot stronger aluminium profile, but it is a lot bigger, and for this room, yeah, it was just about a squeeze to get it in here, and still have room left over for a desk, which is coming in the near future. But yeah, this is made by Trakracer, but I actually bought it from the guys at Tegiwa, who have helped me along this journey, just getting me set up, building my perfect rig. Now, big thank you to them, because not only did they provide me with this beautiful piece of aluminium magnificence, they've also provided me with my pedals, which are made by Zadrotti, and they're load cell. These are pretty much like for like to the Heisenberg Sprint or Ultimate pedals. And the easiest way to describe these pedals is as if you are in a real life GT car. The brake pedal is like hitting a brick wall, and if you've ever been in a GT car in real life, you'll know what I'm talking about, because it's absolutely mental. And when people say, have you skipped leg day? Yeah, this definitely highlights it, it really does. But yeah, they're absolutely superb. And of course, I'll leave in the top right hand corner a little guide that the guys at Tegiwa put together on showing them off how you can calibrate them and shape them to your preferences. They're really easy to set up, so yeah, definitely worth getting, and I think they're actually a little bit cheaper. I've actually opted for the 2 pedals, not the 3, which is the clutch, because yeah, predominantly, as I said, I'm going to be doing GT racing, so I didn't see the need or the expense to get a clutch. Instead, I just have a button allocated on the steering wheel to replicate a clutch, and then just feather in the throttle as if you're getting a biting point. A little bit weird, but it saves myself about £200–300, which is yeah, a no-brainer for me. Then we've got the seat, which didn't come with the rig. Of course, you have to buy a seat separately. With my setup, I didn't have a seat before, so I had to go and get a new seat. But instead of buying like an FIA or MSA approved seat, Tegiwa actually sell a seat that's made specifically for sim racing. So unfortunately, you can't use it in a road or track car, which I ended up finding out because originally I wanted to take this off and put it in the Civic whenever I wanted to go and do a track day in real life. But the guys at Tegiwa said, no, you can't do that because yeah, the seat's not built for it. So unfortunately, I've got to go and fork out some more money on seats for the Civic whenever I get to go back in it. What next? So yeah, we'll talk about the seat, the rig and the pedals. Of course, we've got to talk about the screen. Now, when sim racing, there's a big community that argue about whether you should get a triple screen set up or even a quadruple screen. The screen will be on the top, so you have the 3 screens wrapped around and the screen on the top. Or you get an ultra-wide single monitor, which is curved like what I have, and this is actually a 49-inch curved monitor. Now, this is actually a generation before monitor. The reason being is the new ones are over £1,000. I think they're around £1,200 unless you get it on a sale. And the differences were, apart from the resolution being better, was very minute. It wasn't worth it. And I happened to actually come across this second hand. And it's only been used for a few months for like £550. So it was a very easy decision for me to make. I basically got a screen for next to nothing and didn't have to pay the VAT and all the taxes that involve it in the UK. So yeah, that was a no-brainer for me. And to be fair, after seeing people's comments on no, you should have a triple screen, to be fair, I honestly have no regrets. I really do like it, and of course, if I want to change it in the near future, I can. I have already the optional cockpit mounted monitor stand from Trakracer, so if I wanted to, I can upgrade to another 2 VESA mounts, and then I can change to 3 screens if I wanted to, and still probably break even, if that makes sense. So yeah, honestly, I'll put some screenshots now of the screen on in iRacing. Oh, honestly, it's wicked, and on camera it won't do it justice. You have to actually sit in the seat and see it for yourself. The immersion it gives you, it really is cool. Then we move on to the direct drive system. So the direct drive system is where all the magic happens. Before, as I said, I used to use a Logitech G29 wheel, which was belt driven. I think it's belt driven, and the max Newton meters it gave, I think, was about 1.5, not even that, Newton meters. I'll put a little link in the video now to correct myself because I'm probably wrong. Whereas with this, the Simucube 2 Pro, I can get 25 Newton meters, and yeah, my god, you can notice it. In fact, all Simucube 2 Pros, or all Simucube direct drive systems come with this, an emergency button, and yeah, whenever you see one of these next to a bit of machinery, you know it means business. And yeah, I've already experienced it a few times crashing. If you're not careful or you don't let your hands off the wheel, it can take your wrists off. It is that insane. It's a deadly bit of equipment. So yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted, I can assure you that. So yeah, they obviously come, Simucube do 3 different types of direct drive. So they do the sport version, the pro and the ultimate. I've got the pro, which is in between, because the ultimate is a lot more money, and I think you only get 5 Nm more, and to be fair, 25 Nm is more than enough. The argument of whether you should get a sport or a pro, I decided just to go in the middle and get the pro. At least then I've future-proofed myself for cars in the future or whatever I want to do. Plus again, I got an absolute cracking deal on a brand new one of these for a lot less money. I think I paid about $850 and they retail at around $1,200, so I saved a lot of money there. And then finally, well, penultimately, because we've got to talk about computer as well, is the steering wheel. So with these systems, you can obviously choose whatever steering wheel you want. Of course, it has to fit onto the direct drive itself. For me, I've got a Fanatec Formula Carbon. Now with Fanatec wheels, they're only compatible with Fanatec wheelbases. So for example, their Podium DD range, which I was actually looking at, but from research and personal experience, them being quite new on the market, they've been having problems. So I kind of steered away from that. Plus the price of a DD1 or a DD2 was no real difference, or even more than a Simucube, so it just kind of was a no-brainer. So yeah, when you're using a Fanatec wheel, for example, or a Fanatec, you have to do a conversion kit, which only one company makes, and they are sim racing machines. But thankfully for me, I managed to actually find a wheel and the conversion already done for a good price, again saving a whole load of money. So I didn't have to do any DIY work, because you have to take the whole back of the wheel off and then change it for a USB connection and then load your software onto the PC. So yeah, that is all that I can say on the wheel. The reason I went for a carbon wheel than just a normal traditional wheel was I just like the feeling of a Formula wheel more so than a normal traditional round wheel. Yeah, I'm just a bit weird like that. And lastly, the PC. Now, this is a for me, I was a little bit apprehensive about doing this. I originally looked at paying a company to build my PC for me, and I started to realise that, yeah, it was way out of my budget. So I used a really handy tool online called PC Part Picker. Now, PC Part Picker was the thing that saved my life and made me want to build it myself, because when I realised the specification I wanted from a company compared to building it myself, I think I was saving around £300, which doesn't seem like a lot, but considering you're building a PC that is going to be over time needed to be upgraded, whether it's a new graphics card or a new motherboard because you want to get new RAM in it, yeah, £300 is a big deal. So yeah, PC Part Picker isn't just a website where you can just select your spec. It actually allows you to choose, say, a case, and then once you choose the case that you want, it will actually then, for the rest of the stuff like a motherboard, RAM, storage, it will actually find stuff that's compatible for that case, just to make your life easier, especially for a newbie like me building a gaming PC for the first time. It really helped me. Not only that, each element, whether it's RAM, storage, motherboard, gives you pricing, so it allows you to find the cheapest place. So for example, if you wanted an Intel i7 9th generation, you're certain that you wanted that, PC Part Picker can find you the cheapest one at the time, of course. So if you wanted to build your PC now, but you haven't had the money yet to actually go and buy all the components, or you only had half, PC Part Picker allows you to, it constantly churns through each website, making sure you're getting the best price. So definitely recommend using it. I've probably done £800 to £900 on my computer, and I've built mine a little bit over the top because I'm not just going to use this for sim racing, I'm going to be using it for work also. And I allowed myself some future proofing for if I want to do other things with it. So yeah, it is for me, I've never built one before, so I was very apprehensive at the start, but it just allowed me to jump in it after I did a little bit of research on how to do certain things. I was pretty comfortable with it. And of course you always dread turning it on for the first time because you're like, oh my god, is it going to work? And thankfully it did. And before we end, I forgot what gaming simulator do I use. Now, there's a big variety of simulators that you can use when you're racing. Now, of course, the main one is iRacing, which I happen to use at the minute. iRacing is considered, well, pretty much everyone would say iRacing is the best simulator to use when you want to do competitive real-life sim racing, well, as close to real life as possible, should I put it. And I have to agree, the immersion, the physics, how you hit curbs, tyre wear, the feeling of a car when it starts to rotate or understeer, yeah, you definitely, in conjunction with the direct drive, yeah, it's definitely a wicked experience. And then of course you've got Assetto Corsa or Assetto Corsa Competizione, which is a really big rival to iRacing at the minute. A lot of people are talking about it more and more, but it's just personal preference really. I think the more people that are on iRacing, in terms of they've been on it for a long time, they'll probably steer away from Assetto Corsa. That's just mainly because they've had all their experience on iRacing. So then when they jump into Assetto Corsa, they can't really get to grips with the new physics or how the tyre model is, etc, etc. So I was actually going to go to Assetto Corsa because with iRacing, not only do you have to pay a subscription, you also have to buy tracks and buy cars to progress in your career. And yeah, it can get pretty pricey. So yeah, it swings and roundabouts really. So yeah, that is pretty much it. If you've got any questions, I'll be leaving all the specifications of my sim setup in the description below, so if you wanted to copy, which you're more than happy to do, because I'm not the only one that's just built this, there's lots of other people that have done it, or if you've got any questions that you'll want answering, that you're thinking about going into the sim world, of course, people always take the mick out of your setup. They go, oh, why have you got that? Why have you got this? And at the end of the day, everyone's got to start somewhere. I started with a Logitech G29, wheel and pedals, in a play seat with a PlayStation 4 using Gran Turismo Sport. It's not the most realistic simulated experience, but it was something that got me started. And of course, as I was going to Autosport every year, I was constantly going on professional sim setups and starting to experience where you can go to, and of course it's a lot of money, it really is. As I said, if you wanted to go to a company, you're probably spending about 8 to 10 grand on one. So yeah, that's the ballpark figure really, whereas I probably in reality spend about 4 grand on this. So it's definitely a beneficial thing to do if you want to do it, is build it on your own. I would say that the Trakracer rig, of course, people go, well, you can buy aluminium profiles anywhere and build one yourself. It's not as easy as that, because trust me, this was an absolute pig to build. It probably took me about 2-3 days to build in total, getting all the adjustments right. I had to actually take the screen off to then drop it down because the screen was so heavy and all of the rig was so tight it wouldn't actually move even though it was loose. So yeah, just a word of warning, if you're going to get one of these, they're an absolute pig to install. And don't take my word for it, there's a lot of people that have experienced it as well. But yeah, I'm a happy boy. I feel that I deserve it. I've been sacrificing all sorts of stuff. Of course, I'm in my new house now, which took over a year to finish. And yeah, I was waiting till we were in because yeah, I wanted a room where I could have this sim homed instead of at my mother-in-law's or at my parents' house. I wanted it to be in my own house. And as I said, I wouldn't want to take this apart and build it again because yeah, you're just really ripping your hair out. It really tests your patience. But I think that's it. I've done enough talking. Again, a big thank you to everyone's support and obviously sharing condolences to me about my boy. Honestly, if you have a pet or you've experienced the same thing I have, yeah, they're like your best friend. They mean the world to you. And yeah, there's an empty space in all my heart and my family's heart. Yeah, It's crazy. It happened so quickly. But hey, it's just one of them things, and you just got to move on. But anyway, thanks for watching. As I said, please do subscribe if you're new. I'm trying to hit to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Yeah, it's very unlikely considering we've only got a month left now. But yeah, I would appreciate the support regardless. And of course, as I said, please comment below if you've got any questions. And until then, take care guys, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.
Spider dog, spider dog. That's whatever a spider dog does. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't. He's a dog. Look out. Here comes the spider dog. Dun, 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 dun. Now watch me whip. Wear your spider socks.